Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today, this is the second video on a Friday, and we've got, the market is kind of holding still a little bit as far as XRP goes, $1.01, it's up 7% today. Wanted to show you an update on this. So Charles Hoskinson put out a video where they are like kind of outlining, I think, where, when the Cardano smart contract platform, I think they call it Alonzo, is going to be out. Now, I was watching a few minutes ago. I was watching BitBoy on his YouTube channel, and I wanted to play you this clip of what he said about Cardano and XRP.
Looking closer to 5, 6, 7x for Cardano. I'm looking 5, 6, 7x. Same.
So $10 XRP,
10 to 12, I think, is where we're going to probably end up at. I think could be higher though. Look, do not sleep on that thing. It could be higher. Look,
it could be higher. See, here's what I think. I think he's right over the target. Remember, this guy is calling for, he thinks the SEC thing is going to be resolved by mid-September. Who knows if he's right? He believes that. Well, what I believe, I don't have any sources or anything like that, but I do believe that this thing is going to wind down probably sooner rather than later. And when it does, that $10 to $12, really 10 to 20 is what I've always thought. An SEC, a resolution, give blue skies to XRP, $10 to $20, I believe that could happen in a very short period of time. So I don't think he's way off on that. Now, I told you in the last video, I had all these Gary Gensler clips, and this is part of the reason I think that this thing's going to be resolved pretty quickly, because I don't think Gary Gensler wants his reputation to be just dragged through the mud, not by us saying anything, but by showing his own words and average, just common sense thinking people out there watching this and saying something doesn't smell right. Watch this. This is, by the way, this is a congressional hearing from back in 2018. It was done the month after William Hinman declared Ethereum a non-security, in his opinion, remember.
Mr. Gensler, in your testimony, you mentioned the recent SEC staff determination that Ether is not a security, although it might have been at its issuance. If the SEC had determined Ether was a security in 2015, what regulatory requirements would Ether be subject to today? And I've got two follow-ups. And anybody else that wants to weigh in on this.
If they had determined that way back in 2015, at the time they would have had to give some full and fair disclosure. I think the SEC at that time would have probably said, well, it's probably not 3 years of financials and things like that, because it was a new startup. And this is something the SEC is grappling with even now for current initial coin offerings. What is full and fair disclosure? I think Director Hinman at the SEC said it right. It's about information asymmetry. Give an investor enough information so they can take the risk. Government shouldn't, it's not a nanny government. We're not, but the investors can take their risk as long as they get enough information.
Okay. And how might such a regulatory regime affect the functionality of the Ethereum network?
I think that, and Mr. Ness raised this question earlier, there's friction right now because we don't have the beneficial ownership. Securities laws say we have to have full and fair disclosure, and we have to keep track of anybody who owns the security. It's that second one that's the friction Mr. Ness mentioned. I'm an optimist. I think technology can solve for this. It's not going to be in 2018. So it would slow down some of these token economies. But I believe that it's important to track beneficial ownership for all the reasons about illicit activity and taxing. And
I agree with that. Anybody else?
Okay, and then there was also this clip that I found. Listen to this.
Promoting innovation.
When you hear the word incumbents, Think J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and
I think
White Shoe
promoting
Boys.
innovation and promoting competition means also bringing this inside the public policy sphere. I don't think they compete. I think it's together. I think that if you recall as this committee that there's the issuer-based crypto, which is kind of the SEC and these ICOs. There's derivative crypto, which the CFTC has, but it's going to have some challenges. And then there's the whole cash commodity crypto, which is 70% of this world. That's where I think Congress has a real role, and to think about, is there more authorities? I say incumbents versus startups. Startups feel that they can beg for forgiveness after they sort of mess up with the law enforcement. Incumbents feel they've got to ask for permission. And so right now there's an imbalance right now where incumbents aren't in this space and startups are, and you might want to address that. MIT and I are available anytime if you need any help on any of this. Thank you.
Man, I get the feeling he wanted to open that door up for the J.P. Morgan and the Goldman Sachs, and then he becomes the gatekeeper for anybody else who wants to get that brokerage license to be able to sell what he wants to proclaim all these things, which is mostly securities. Then there was this clip from XRP, You Amaze Me, and I don't remember when this is from, but just watch it. If I can hit the refresh, and we will watch it.
In the last 6 to 8 months. And if anyone thinks that Jay Clayton and the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States poured a lot of cold water and slowed this market down with their pronouncements, as Jay Clayton, who runs the U.S. SEC, said in February, he has not yet seen an ICO that is not a security under U.S. law. Yeah. By the way, I agree with him. I think anybody who says otherwise is probably hoping, or they have a conflict of interest and they're trying to raise money off of the public. I respect that. They want to be in an unregulated space. So what are these initial coin offerings?
Just a complete walking contradiction. Okay, Crypto and Policy had put this out. Second update. We have not received any new communication from the SEC after its referral of our May 14th petition to Gary Gensler to an unrelated office within the agency. This comes at the same time Jeremy Hogan has been trying to get a straight answer from Gary Gensler about whether Ether is a security or not. Gensler and the SEC publicly insist there is nothing but absolute regulatory clarity and transparency on crypto. Oh, really? How exactly can Gensler's public statements coexist with the SEC's refusal to ever respond to any of us? Were his assurances of clarity and transparency just his personal opinion, like Hinman's Ethereum speech that was emailed in draft from 63 times within the agency? I mean, excellent points being made there. Now, I want to show you this. I have talked to you about Wyoming. The more, I was in Jackson Hole a week or two ago, or not a week or two, a month or two ago, and that I learned right quick. I already knew, but I was looking through a real estate magazine, and I later posted. There was a little clip showed all the tax benefits of living in Wyoming. The more I look at Wyoming, the more I love Wyoming. Watch this.
And we're here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is the state's capital. It's also looking to become the crypto capital of the United States. And one of the big reasons a lot of these tech companies have been moving here, friendly regulation. The state has passed more than 24 bills related to blockchain. The biggest one so far is aimed at quick approval for new crypto banks.
What Wyoming did was just create a welcoming legal environment, just clarifying that this industry is lawful and does exist in a recognized manner. Most of the crypto industry in other states is just in a legal and regulatory gray area.
On top of that regulatory environment, guys, there's no personal income tax here. Wyoming also has abundant and cheap energy sources, and that is key for those crypto mining companies. And it turns out the internet speed here is pretty good as well. Some of the country's largest data centers, including Microsoft, are in Cheyenne. Wyoming's Senator Cynthia Lummis, meanwhile, was among those fighting for a crypto amendment in the recent infrastructure bill. She says the state is bringing in more revenue and tech jobs thanks to crypto, and she says it could be a sandbox for action in D.C.
There's been a long delay in getting action, and we're trying to encourage the Fed to move it along so these companies are not burning through their capital trying to get a charter. They can actually begin to conduct business.
That woman right there is a hero in all of this crypto stuff now. But I am fascinated by Wyoming. If any of you that are listening to my voice can tell me what I'm interested in Wyoming, I'm interested in the unknown places that nobody talks about, that are the best places to live in Wyoming, because I am not joking when I say that I am looking seriously at Wyoming. I would love to be a Wyoming resident if I could talk my wife into it. I've also got to deal with the kid issue, but I would love but one thing I don't want to do is move to some tourist trap type place. And Jackson Hole on the outskirts is excellent, but it's a little too touristy inside the town of Jackson Hole. I would like to find somewhere out on the outskirts of one of these places. A hidden gem is what I'm looking for. So if any of you know anything like that, shoot me an email. The email is digitalassetinvestor2018 @gmail. I bet there's a real estate agent in Wyoming listening. Okay. Then I had to show this because this is an old classic a lot of you aren't aware of. This is from Genie. Distributed Computer System U.S. patent by David Schwartz, who is now the CTO of Ripple, filed August 25th, 1988, exactly 33 years ago this month. Patent number 5,025,369, and this is his patent. So a lot of you didn't know that he had put a patent on this long ago. Worthy of bringing up every once in a while. 432 HZ XRP. Check it out. The world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, this is from Gold Telegraph, said it will discontinue trading pairs and payment options using the South Korean won, effective immediately. Surprise, surprise. I mean, poor Binance they are cracking down on this poor guy left and right. Let me tell you what, don't be surprised. This might sound crazy, but don't be surprised based on everything we're seeing. Remember, they came out of nowhere after that, the Arthur Hayes guy from BitMEX, and arrested him. Don't be surprised if you don't see them come after CZ Binance that way. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. Okay, now that doesn't mean that he has a legitimate reason to be arrested. I'm just saying, when they decide to go after you like that, you just never know what they're going to do. Okay, I wanted to remind you all, Link2 just added more Uphold to the platform. They also added Kraken at $65. Link2 is, I think it's almost sold out. They added that yesterday, but I was just making you aware. That's linqto.com. They're one of my sponsors. I'm also a customer of theirs, and these things don't tend to, the blockchain related private equity doesn't tend to last very long, especially on Fridays. So I just want to make you aware whenever I see it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that Link2 has added Uphold, Kraken, and they've got a little bit of Link2 left.